Good afternoon, everybody. This is Owen at your weekly word for today. And today we're coming from a very unique topic, I say. And the subject is entitled A Wayward Attitude. A Wayward Attitude. And it's coming from the fourth chapter of Genesis, chapter 4, verses 5 through 8. Genesis chapter 4, verses 5 through 8. And it's basically talking about one who was not doing according to what God and his parents, Adam and Eve, sort of shared with him, and how he went about his own way. And he was sort of had a depraved resolution to whatever happened at the time of his life. So we're going to focus on this today. And my prayer is that as you see this message come to light, maybe in your own thinking, there may be some waywardness that you may need to put yourself in a posture to ask God to help you with. So here it is. We have too many mass shootings. You see the climate change. Especially this month, it's been the hottest on record. Seem to be, these are the resolutions that seem to come because man has allowed themselves to think for themselves and not to trust in the one who created us, that he has a plan for us. Even in American politics, there is, so much division and unrest going on there. I mean, you've seen what's happening with the laws that have been brought down and affecting different groups in our country. We are not the United States of America as the name suggests. There's waywardness there. But we got to really define what this word wayward means, because I don't think we really have an idea of what it is. So let's define it. Wayward is following one's own capricious or fickle, wanton or cruel or depraved inclinations. One who's ungovernable, following no clear principle of law, very unpredictable. So people like the sociopaths and psychopaths, they have these wayward attitudes. They use gaslighting tactics or other sorts of mental gymnastics to change people's perspective on life and living, and how they want to just do very bad things to people because that's where they get joy from. So the question comes to that we must tackle is, how do we come to this? Where did this all start? So in our scripture text for today, we have to go really back to the beginning, where when Adam and Eve were created, the first couple, all the animals were created, all the vegetation and the sun, the sky, and water, and everything in between was created. In chapter 3 of Genesis, Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, and the story goes on to say that the Lord told them that you can eat of any tree in this garden except for one. But Eve went her own way and wanted to see about this fruit that was in the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and she was succumbed by the serpent because he kind of flipped the script in regards to using his wayward attitude and shared with her that it's okay to eat it. So she took of it, ate it, and she gave it to her husband. Now, for me, the husband could have said no, and then only Eve would have died and the Lord would have replaced her with somebody else. But because he wanted to be loyal to his wife, he decided to take of that fruit and eat it. And because of their mistake they made, um, they were they found that they were naked. They found that they had to clothe themselves, and they were escorted out of the Garden of Eden. And then because of their sin, each generation after them is still having their wayward attitude. So here we have the story of Cain and Abel, two brothers who came from the loins of Adam and Eve, and the scripture lesson points out that Cain and Abel had two professions. Cain was a farmer, and Abel was a shepherd. And as they were doing their profession, they were trained by their parents to always give a first fruit, an offering to the Lord. And because their training and their learning from their parents and learning from God, they gave of their first fruits. And the story goes on to say that Cain's offering was not accepted, and Abel's was, and Cain was not happy. Moving on. Because of Cain's wrath and wrath, he took his brother out into the field and decided to kill him. As you see this picture here, he has a rock in his hands and he's about to use it for blunt force trauma. I could imagine that, how could his brother think, well, why would Cain do this to me? I didn't do anything. But because of Cain's jealousy, he took it upon himself to kill his brother, and he was now dead. If you read chapter 4, going forward after verse 8, God gives Cain a punishment. He says to him, well, because of what you did, the blood of your brother is screaming out from the ground. And so you will be tilling the ground. You'll be farming, but nothing will come of it. And so you will be a fugitive and a vagabond going throughout the earth. And I'll put a mark on your body, and if anybody tries to kill you, you'll still be spared, so you'll be suffering. And so, here are the 2 points that it's going to stand out. And because our wayward attitude is such that God sent his son to be the sacrifice for all humanity. He paid the price for our redemption. He gave us the chance to get things right, to start over, so we would not have these wayward attitudes anymore. And so my appeal to you today is, if you have tendencies of wayward attitude, know that the blood of Christ can save you. Know that because of what Jesus did on the cross for you and I, we have the opportunity to take our wayward attitudes and change them into Christ-like characters and attitudes that will help the world become a better place. So I pray that this has been a blessing to you. And if there's anyone that you know who may have a wayward attitude, share this video with someone, because they too can be saved as well. God bless you. I pray that you enjoy the rest of your day.